What's up, you guys? Kira says, and this is the
Brother Tag.
Brother Tag. he just got off of work, and I'm like forcing him here, so he's all tired. Sorry, but
no
thank
excuses.
you.
Don't make no excuses.
Okay, no excuses. So let's just get going, okay?
Let's go.
Do we have the same dad? People ask us that a lot.
Yes,
but yeah.
you do have the same dad.
Yeah, we have the same mom and the same dad.
Same dad.
How tall are you?
I am 6'1".
What's your favorite sport?
Basketball.
What's your favorite food?
Ooh, I like salad a lot. But I just ate a whole box of pizza.
What do you like about each other?
I like that you're very easygoing, as opposed to like mom and our other sis. Yeah.
I like that about you too. You're like really easygoing. What are some fun things that we like to do together?
I like to cook, so I think.
And I like to eat.
That's true.
Yeah,
I like that.
we lived apart for like big chunks. Cause like when I was younger, even I didn't live in the same house as him for a little bit, and then like as soon as I was 18, I was out of the house, and so like lately we've been trying to like cherish our relationship and cherish the moment, and like spend more quality time together. Is he single?
Yes. Fortunately and unfortunately.
What does that mean?
That means she cheated.
No.
Girlfriend tag. Look, the next one is a girlfriend tag. Oh yeah, fortunately and unfortunately, single, but I'm working on it.
What are our nicknames for each other? I call you by your name, but you be calling me different stuff.
You didn't even tell them my name. They don't. Tell your fans to guess my name. If they could guess my name in the next video, they'll be in your next video.
If you were stuck on an island and you could pick one person to be stuck with you, who would you pick?
I would pick probably someone that was racist.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because if you have that opportunity to change somebody's way of thinking if you're stuck and forced to really cooperate with them, because that would be a situation in which you're stuck somewhere with somebody. Number one, you don't want to be alone. Number two, the only way for you to get out of your situation is to use each other. So
yeah, I like that. How do you feel about the recent shootings? And this was a really, really, really great question.
The way I feel about the shootings,
yeah, the
way I've always felt about the loss of life. Like when is it necessary? I think in those two instances of the two different videos, the two different black men who were gunned down, I do feel like there was some way to avoid lethal force. And that's something that I think police officers do have the training and the willpower to use at their discretion, but when should you use lethal force is a big issue that we need to address, and they were just unnecessary.
So I know what my experience has been like as a black woman in this society, and I also know what my experience has been having a black man for a brother. Oftentimes it's a scary one. It's one filled with a lot of fear and anxiety. I can remember being afraid for my brother every time he would leave the house. I remember feeling that way from a very young age, ever since like middle school. When was the first time you were held at gunpoint by a police officer? How old were you?
Yeah, that's a heavy one.
I know, but like for a lot of people, that's not even in their reality. Like a lot of people go from Black Lives Matter straight to All Lives Matter. And what I want to point out really quick is that Black Lives Matter isn't about excluding all other races. It's about the fact that there is not equal rights right now in our country. Things are not equal. Like, black men do not have it the same way as other people do, and so we're just trying to shed light on this problem, not exclude other races. You know, it's not like a selfish thing. And a lot of people probably don't even know, can't even fathom what it's like to have their loved one held at gunpoint by the police for no reason, and that's been a reality in our family for so long.
We're the head of the movement, we're the face of it, but we're not the only individuals that the benefits of being successful in this movement will benefit. And that's what I want everybody to understand. And the first time I was held at gunpoint by a police officer was when I was about 15 years old. And I would remember our playground had a recreation center. And I remember there were police officers that entered the recreation center, and I don't know if they were doing some type of gang sweep. I don't know if they were looking for, any suspects or whatever they were doing. They just pointed at me and said, "Come here, put your hands up." Didn't give me any justification, didn't tell me why. They searched me very intensely. One cop stood next to me as the other cop made me spread my legs out as far as I can, and then he stepped on one of my ankles, trying to anticipate if I was gonna try to run or not. I don't know why. And then I had my hands behind my head in this position, and with his other hand he held both of my hands together with one hand, and then he dug in my pockets, dug in my drawers. I just felt very exposed, and I didn't understand. I'm innocent. What am I even doing this? Why am I even here? Officers, had their guns drawn, and they were prepared to, to use deadly force when, I didn't have a weapon on me, and I'm not even a violent person, so.
My brother is a 4.0 student. He's never been in any kind of trouble whatsoever. And this is just the first time.
Yeah, that was just the first time. It's not been the only time, But I also too, play devil's advocate. I'm a firm believer in telling the truth. There's been times where police officers have let me off on a speeding ticket. There's been times where police officers have, pulled me over and everything was straightforward, and I didn't have, a bad, altercation or interaction with them. But more often than not, if I would compare my interactions with police officers compared to with someone who may or may not be of color, I'm sure there would be some type of disparity. I think the way that certain police officers, the way the criminal justice system interacts with people of color is in such a way that it almost makes you feel like you're being treated different. It almost makes you feel like you're being targeted. I felt like a target. That's what a target is, right? You see a target right there, you want to, hit the bullseye. That's all they did. They came in, pointed at me. It's like, I want you. That's who I want to search.
And it's not just a fear of him being in an altercation with a police officer, but racism and racial profiling is everywhere. Just someone seeing him walking down the street and have the total wrong impression of him, and then him ending up in a situation over the way that he looks. It's a very real, scary possibility every single time he leaves the house, just because color of his skin. So as his sister, that's something that I'm always afraid of. But this is a heavy subject, and we don't have to get super into it, but I just wanted to make a point. I just wanted to let you guys know, where I stand, and that this is real. I wanted to hopefully clarify some things for some of you that maybe don't fully understand. We're just having an open conversation. And I'm an African American Studies minor. My brother's an African American Studies major. So not only have we lived it, but we also have studied it. really quick, overall, African Americans, we only make up about 10% of the population. Yet if you look at jails, prisons, and the rate of an African American person being killed due to an altercation with a police officer, they're very, very high. They're close to 50%. It's like 40% population in our prisons and jails are black men, and then it's like 45% of victims of police brutality are African American. Yet we're only about 10% of the population. Everyone commits crime. No, crime isn't about the color of your skin. Yet African American men predominantly are going to prison at an extremely higher rate than everyone else.
And not just going to prison,
staying in prison. Life sentences, going in young and never getting out, or getting out when they're super old.
That's a disparity too. Like, let's say, a person of color commits a crime, a person not of color commits a crime. That person of color is more likely to get more time and stay in jail, prison, what have you, a lot longer for the same offense. I think people have to remember too about the civil rights movements in general is that no matter what the civil rights movements were trying to fight for, it was a fight that everybody benefited from. Other communities feel as if a Black Lives Matter movement means that Black lives are more important than everybody else's.
Right.
And that's not what this is about. This is a human rights issue.
What do you do for a living? Do you want to say? You don't have to.
Well, right now, I do a couple of things. I manage a singer-songwriter, and I currently work at the post office. So I run dogs and police.
Funniest moment together.
You're funny every single day, so I always find something to laugh at that you say or do.
Oh, thanks.
Hey guys, I just want to let you guys know that in 2016, it's easier to hate than it is to love. I just want everybody to try to love one another a little bit harder. Be there for the person standing next to you. Be there for a neighbor, sister, brother, cousin. Be there for people who don't look like you, who don't act like you. And I feel like in 2016, it's harder to do that now than it ever was, because there's so much distance between people. But if you learn how to love each other, hate a little bit less, that's the only way we'll grow and move forward as a country, a nation, and a people.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a much heavier topic than you're used to me talking about.
But it's important.
But yeah, it is important, and thank you for making it through this video if you did. And
thank you.
I love you guys, and I'm gonna see you.
Guess my name, and
and then I'm gonna see you next week and guess his name and love thy neighbor. Okay, thank you for listening to our topic. Rihanna or Beyonce if you had to pick?
Solange.
Really?
Why not? You driving an hour to pick me up on a quarter tank of gas, and then you being on E and thinking you can make it back to your house with no gas. And of course we break down, and then both of our phones die. And that tow truck took 8 hours to come, and as soon as the tow truck got there, you realized that you had a charger in the trunk.
I did that.
Yeah.
Don't you